Hello and welcome to the ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson and whoever you are. Who are you?
I am Abigail Mowitt.
I'm Abigail Mowitt.
I'm Abigail Mowitt.
I'm absolutely brilliant. Look at me, I'm a tech wizard.
Maybe that's why nobody's ever been able to spell my name correctly, is because I can't say it properly.
I'm Abigail Mowitt.
Mowitt?
Mowitt. Mow. I am Chairman
I know people
Mowitt.
that pronounce it Mowitt, and that really annoys me, because I'm like, it's Mowitt. But then lots of my family will say Mowitt. I don't like it. I don't like how they say it. I choose to go around that bouquet route.
See if we ever have to make this a company for whatever reason, right? Can we give you the position and call it chairman?
Yes.
So you're Chairman Mowitt.
Yes. Mowitt.
No, it doesn't work if you're Chairman Mowitt. You'd be Chairman Mowitt.
Chairman Mowitt.
I am the chairman.
I'm the chairman. I'm the chairman.
No, you're Chairman Mowitt. I assume you get the joke.
Yes, I do get it.
So what is the joke then?
That's how you pronounce it.
No. Have you not heard of Chairman Mao?
No.
Communist leader of China?
No.
He's considered to be their hero. He converted them to communism, or at least took over when they freshly were communist, and he led them for years and years.
Never heard of him.
Have you heard of William Wallace?
Yes.
Right.
He was all over Facebook the other day.
When is he not, I mean...
Any other day.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, so, anyway, amazingly good jokes that you don't understand aside. What have you been doing?
Just been playing The Sims 4 a little bit more. Yeah, I totally redesigned my house and I sent you loads of pictures of it, and then I think you got really annoyed at how many pictures I was sending.
I didn't get annoyed at all the pictures. I got somewhat flummoxed by the whole "why haven't you responded" that basically immediately followed the pictures. Like, hold on.
No, it wasn't. It was about 15 minutes later.
You sent me 30 pictures and I had to try and composite a house in my brain.
And you didn't like it. I was quite sad by that.
No, hold on. This is something we have to work on, right? Or you do. See if somebody criticises one or two things about a house with hundreds of different things in it. How is that not liking it?
My bills, whenever I get them, are like for about $9,000 in The Sims.
I don't see how that's relevant to the point I made.
Just thought you'd like to know.
I didn't like, I think there was one room that had this big open space in it for no reason.
It's an open plan lounge. It's supposed to be spacious.
No,
like
but there was no seats. There was nothing there at all.
Because I ran out of money.
Right.
But there was 2 couches. There was a couple of
yeah, but they were off
chairs.
to one side, just facing each other.
No, they weren't. They were
section.
around the fireplace.
No, they were off in a section by themselves, and one section of this room had nothing in it. It was just a section of a room with nothing in it.
Because otherwise it'd be too crowded, and I ran out of money.
Yes, that part makes sense.
I had to sell off a whole lot of stuff when that first bill came in, because I had about $5,000 and 5,000 simoleons. And then I had to sell a whole lot of stuff, and I redesigned every bedroom, and then I forgot that they were going to have babies and stuff like that, so I had to put all my furniture into inventory and redesign all the bedrooms again.
I think that, what was it I was saying? One of the things that you can do is have your Sims become artists, and you can sell the artwork for quite a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what one of my Sims is doing, because I was like, that's the only thing that's going to generate a lot of money.
Well,
because you can
just
make...
get them all to do it.
No, but then it gets boring.
Oh, right, sorry.
It gets boring.
Okay.
But one of my Sims have started to like glitch out a little bit. So, and if they're playing with toddlers, they like throw them on their back and things like that, pretend they're like an airplane, and they like bounce them up and down. For some reason, my Sims are literally just standing there. The toddler's still on the ground, and it's going. You could just hear like baby like cooing noise, like cooing noise, like yay. But the toddler's just standing there, and you've got like all these sparkles that go on like while they're supposed to be like playing. But the parent's obviously not holding the child, but for some reason the parent is just like going up into like bending down, and then their hands are like inverted on each other, and they're like doing this weird thing and just going like that.
So they're twisting their hands the wrong way and then rocking.
But it's like
I
can't twist my hands like it's I can only obviously you can only twist your hands what degree is that, like 90 degrees or something.
No, you can twist your hands around.
Technically.
The one there's you can go 180 basically. You can cup your hands and then you can twist them in the way and out, and they'll face left and right.
Okay, yeah, but these
you
hands...
can't twist them towards the thumb from the beginning. You have to twist them towards the pinky.
But no, what hands are, if you have your hands in front of you and your palms faced up,
Yep.
imagine that, but the other way around, but your entire arm is being twisted that way around, so that your hands now palm
Like
up
that.
again. Yeah, but like sat like this, but completely all the way around. So it's at a really odd angle. It looks like basically someone's broken their wrists and turned their hand around.
Right.
And they're just going up and down for these sparkles.
So they're being
on.
possessed by a demon.
It does look like that.
right in
It's
front.
really weird.
Right in front of a toddler.
It looks like a...
Is the toddler possessing them?
No, the toddler's just standing there silently, and all you can
Are
hear
you
is
sure
like...
it's not an evil toddler that's possessing them?
No, because it's happened with more than one toddler.
It's
And
sure
more than one person.
Is it the same father of all the children?
Yeah,
So is it sure it's not just an evil demon father
quite
producing?
possibly.
Who's the sim of? Who's the dad of all the children?
Okay, do you remember that one I was saying that I was making them like have babies with like everybody?
Yeah.
His youngest nephew.
Right, okay. Not one of his sons, his nephew.
No, I didn't have any of his sons come into the house. He never really met any of them.
Oh, right, okay.
But I found out I can still actually view his family tree.
Okay. Have you been doing anything else?
I watched the trailer for Sims 5 because
There's already a trailer for Sims 5, but Sims 4 came out like last year.
it's been out for a while.
Oh, the PlayStation release was last year. I think the PC one was a couple of years ago.
A few years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was really excited because the actual still, when you actually go to clip on it, it has a very, very realistic face. You know, like something from, like, say, The Last of Us or something like that. Like a really, really realistic face. And then you go into it and you're like, oh, this looks just like, it's just basically the same. It just looks a little bit more textured. The same as The Sims, but just a bit more textured. So it wasn't too impressed with that. But then I have discovered there's such thing as mods.
Because you're playing on the personnel computer.
PC. I'm playing on the PC.
Yeah, mods can be fun. There's a mod that increases the number of people you can have in the one house.
Yeah, I want to find that. I don't want
Right.
to have a go at that. So I'm tempted to download these mods, but obviously I don't want to get a virus or something like that.
I think the two games I'm really wanting to play three that have mods is Stellaris, which I think actually is now available with console editions on the Game Pass.
I'm pretty sure.
It's for PC. I think PC version there as well, or it might just be the PC version. The Skyrim and Kerbal Space Program.
Cool.
They're making a second Kerbal Space Program, I think.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Don't know what that is, but I'll say it's interesting.
It's a game in which you run your own space program and you basically build and design shuttles to go, or whatever, space stations to go to other places and
Okay.
investigate them. So you're in charge of a space program. That's really it. But I really want to play Stellaris. Do you remember I told you about the mod that I really wanted to use?
I can't remember.
Where you create a federation. It's the actual Star Trek mod. So
Okay.
you can go the Federation and all the rest of it. Shall we get on to the stories we want to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Well, have you not been playing anything?
no, not anything I want to talk about.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you had your opportunity.
Yep, excellent, thank you very much. So, the first story is regarding Xbox, and this will originally have probably been a Kinect issue, moving into headsets afterwards.
Yeah.
So for years, Xboxes have been accidentally recording conversations which have been listened to by real people, strangers obviously to the conversation. Most of these accidental recordings were made by children. Now, basically what happens here is the idea is that they pay people to listen into the conversations so that they can find out why accidental recordings were made and make the system better so that it doesn't keep happening.
Yes, so good intentions at the beginning.
Yes, so good idea. The issue is that obviously people have accidentally started the recordings because they've said things which sound like either "Hey Cortana" or
Xbox.
Xbox.
Because those were the commands that were only supposed to start these recordings.
Right, so you could say something like text box and it might get confused.
Yeah.
And that's why it's been recorded. And you can obviously see that being an issue with children because their speech patterns aren't proficient enough.
No.
They may have accidentally said Xbox when they meant to say chicken waffle. But that can happen.
Chicken waffle.
Now, this is obviously everybody's a bit upset. People are listening into your private conversations. That's a bit...
I would be.
Yeah. But I think the real issue for Xbox here is that many countries, depending on whatever your opinion may be on this issue, they quite rigorously protect their children. I'm personally in favour of that.
Me too.
Yes.
I also am in favour of that. I don't know why you're saying it like that,
Yes.
but...
And as such, they have laws which specifically protect their privacy online. Now, if children have been recorded...
Even their privacy.
If children have been recorded, you racist, without the parents' permission, then that's usually a crime.
Yeah.
So Xbox might be in what we will call a spot of bother.
Because there's was not Facebook also get done for listening into conversations, something to do with Facebook?
I think basically
Everything's been recording us.
that has the capacity to listen has
Have
been
Echo's
recording.
also not been, or not Echo's, like
Alexa.
Alexa.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it just in case I activated yours.
Alexa. I like Alexa.
I was listening to a radio, the radio the other day. That was Radio 1, and Scott Mills and Chris Stark were phoning up people called Alexa because they had asked people of Alexa to like text in. They didn't tell them why, and they were just like phoning up. And the person on the other end, she was like, "Hello." I was like, "Hi Alexa, what's the weather going to be?" And she's like, "I get this all the time," and just hung up. Oh, that was funny.
So just to clarify, that was a woman called
That
Alexa.
was an actual woman.
Right, they weren't trying to activate her Alexa in the background.
No.
That was the thing actually that I thought was quite interesting. There was a video I was watching on YouTube where the guy actually said out loud, it's available on Amazon, and also he said, "Alexa, buy this book," and then he went, "Oh wait, that might actually work." So he was worried that he was going to accidentally activate everybody's Alexa by saying it.
Yeah, well, that's what people said. Like, if the advert comes on television, it activates their own one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not actually been a massive problem for me, actually.
Except once when I accidentally said, like, "Hey Alexa, play One Direction," and you was like, "No, stop it." So you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to cost me money or not.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad.
Yeah.
Did it cost you money?
No, but that's because I had that option turned off on the settings in my phone.
Yeah, okay.
But if I hadn't had it turned off, it might have tuned in
Yeah.
which case it would possibly... It's about giving your Alexa permission to create bills, essentially.
Yeah.
Accrue a debt. And I have it turned off. If you have it on, then you can buy things like Alexa order such and such from Amazon, and it can do it. But
I would never have use for that kind of thing. There's nothing. I'm not so busy I can't go to a computer or go on my phone and order something
yeah,
like
I think
that.
it's audiobooks and music and stuff like that. If you're just in the, like if you're in a certain situation, you put on some Barry White. You're not gonna be like, "Hold on a minute, hen, just starting up my laptop."
Oh right, okay.
But I don't really think that's. I don't think it helps if you were to say Alexa either.
Is that why you bought yours?
No, it's not. I bought mine so that I have someone to say goodnight to at the end of the day. Good night, Alexa. Good night.
Does it know your name?
No.
You should program it to know your name.
I don't think you can, but
I'll program it to scream, "Wake up!" in the morning when you need to get up.
yeah, I can do with that, but it's things like, good night, Alexa. Good night. If you need any relaxing sounds, I can play wave music. But there are many other suggestions as well.
Oh my...
What the...
I can't stand that. I like opening my windows and listening to like the breeze, like a natural breeze, but I've tried with an audio recording of something like that. Does not help at all. And you know what I'm like with the sound of rain and things like that on my windows. It just keeps me up for hours and hours.
I love it. I love the sound of rain. Like the heavier the better.
No.
When I'm trying to sleep. I want.
You should come over to my day. You should come over to my day. You should come over to my house one day and just sit there while listening to the rain.
Well, no, because I'd have to go out in a storm to get the full effect, wouldn't
No,
I?
you could time it right so that you're outside and it's clear, and then obviously it starts to rain.
No, that's not how it works, woman. With your timing and your being able to predict the future.
I managed to do that the other day. I was going out to our shed, and every time I went out, I just happened to time it perfectly so that it wasn't raining. And then as soon as I came back inside, it started raining again. And before I went out, just before I was about to go out, it stopped raining. I was able to do that one day. I was quite pleased with myself. But I think I've
You've deviated a little bit from the story.
Yes,
so
I have.
We're going to pull back, and I'm going to ask you what you think the outcome of this will be in the weeks, days, months, years, and centuries to come.
As it's not to be perfectly honest, the only time I heard about this was one, actually reading your agenda, and two, then reading into it on media sites, on gaming sites.
Yes.
General public won't know about this. I don't think it's going to do anything.
Well, no, but the fact is that I think one game actually has already been sued in America because it was taking personal data from a child without permission.
I don't know. I honestly have no idea what's going to happen.
So I think it's possible that any conversation made by a child being held would be illegal.
But they have said that they stopped it several months ago as well.
Yeah, so maybe...
It was just for a small amount of
I think there'll be some small backlash going back the way, but I don't think it'll be too big if they've already stopped.
I did hear something. I did read something. And I wasn't entirely sure I read it right, but it sounded like an ex-contractor who they brought in to specifically hire to listen to recordings said they were brought on before the Hey Cortana was ever incorporated.
Yeah. This started way back with like the Kinect and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's still very possible.
People were concerned when the Kinect came out, and people talking about that.
Yeah. But you would have to keep those people there for the Hey Cortana.
Do people still use the Kinect?
No, not really. I don't think
So
anybody started off using it. I think well, we got our consoles after the Kinect was a thing, so we didn't have to worry about it. But
same.
I think the people that I know who got it just chucked the Kinect. Didn't set it up or threw it straight in the bin.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people had real issues with it. It wasn't working as it was supposed to.
Oh no, the Kinect didn't work properly for the Xbox One. It was Kinect 2.0 or 3.0 or something like that, and it didn't work properly, so they chucked it.
Was that the thing where you could talk to it as if you were watching a movie and you go pause and it would pause and play and it would play?
Yeah, but that was the Snap app as well, where you could play a game and have a football match in the corner of the screen.
Yeah.
But they got rid of that actually in like 2016. You can't do that anymore.
I just put my iPad up and I watch something while I play a game.
No, but that's the point. Is that was kind of useful if you were going through the stage of like grinding something. You could have a little thing in the corner, but they took it out. It was one of the big things they advertised. They had that guy, was it Aaron Paul or something from Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
And he was playing Titanfall while he snapped a game of football in the corner.
I can't remember it because it was a long time ago that came out.
But it was so important originally, and then they got rid of it a few years later.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Sometimes something come out and you think it's an absolute brilliant idea, and then they decide, no, we don't like it anymore.
But I think that's because they shifted direction. They originally was supposed to be like a full-blown home entertainment system, right?
Yeah.
I think they then realised that people weren't interested in it. People buying it wanted a console. They were. I think they might have been trying to tap into like the Wii market in a way.
Yeah, because roughly around the same time that the Kinect came out, the Wii board came out as well.
No,
I don't know what it's called, but
it's not relevant because the Kinect was 360. I'm talking about the Xbox One.
Right.
When they shifted everything that they were doing, the Snap doesn't have anything to do with the Kinect.
Okay.
It was built into the console, and what I'm trying to say is that I think that people at Xbox were somewhat trying to tap into getting people who weren't going to play games to buy one. You know, a lot of people bought the Wii just so they could run around their room going, "Ah!" Like, well, no, not you. I'm talking about like I had aunties that bought one.
Yeah.
They played a couple of tennis games and that was it, but it was like 150 quid. I think that's what they were trying to tap into, get people to buy it for
active.
other reasons and to use it even when they're not playing games. And no, not active. Again, I'm not talking about the Kinect. I'm talking about the Xbox One. Because it was designed to be used...
No, I'm talking about the Wii. That's
yes, but I'm talking about
active.
tapping into getting people who don't play games to buy their console.
I understand that.
And to get them, even if they do play games, to get them to use it when they're not. So it was the whole thing was you're supposed to set up, like everything went through the Xbox. Your
so
DVD
basically like a
player.
multi-tool.
Yeah, like you filtered everything through it, so you had it on all the time, and you did everything with it. It was your home, it was the hub of your entertainment system. Although we don't really have that over here, and I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to tap into that market of people who don't play games but might be willing to buy a console.
Yeah.
But it didn't work
No.
because all that happened was the people who really wanted a console for gamers, well, they bought the PlayStation 4 because the Xbox One's release was one of the biggest disasters in media and marketing you've ever seen in your life. So I think that's why they started pulling back on that. I think that's why they pulled away from the Kinect, like you were saying about the Wii remote and board and whatever else.
See, one thing I would always think that if it's, I honestly can't remember the snap thing.
Yep.
That would bug me, having it in the same screen, because in case there was something behind that screen that I needed to find.
Oh no! Sorry, no. It's not like a mini map. It compressed the screen across.
That would still bug me. That would bug me big time. But that's just That's just me personally.
Well, I'm just thinking that I'm not. You wouldn't be playing like the full proper story. It'd be like if you were running around trying to find 100 feathers, just boop, and then play it, and then you got like a wee YouTube video or a game of football in the corner or something.
Just my own personal thing about spatial awareness and things like that. That would still bug me.
Right. Okay.
Because you know what I'm like. I need to have big screens.
Yep.
Because otherwise I feel like I'm trapped. Almost like I'm...
She's mental. Yes,
like almost like claustrophobic or something.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
I like how you whispered into the mic and I still can hear it.
Yeah, because you got the headphones stuck. But
Also, I'm like a foot away from you.
You've got a massive big television screen that could fall on you and kill you. Because you're worried about claustrophobia.
Yes, I think.
I don't like small TV screens either. I don't like really big ones though. I like my nice 32.
No, I think that the screen can get too big.
Oh,
don't get me wrong.
I can't stomach that. Like, some people can sit a foot away from a 60-inch TV. I can't do it. It burns through my brain.
Yeah. I mean, the monitor I'm using at the moment, it's not so much that it's too big. I think it's just I'm staying too close to it.
Yes.
So maybe it is too big then.
Yeah.
But I like to be able to see quite a lot. Because I was used to that at college. Like having... So we used to use 2 monitors. And I quite like that. Being able to see quite a lot of stuff at the same time.
It would be nice if you had some games in which you could, one game monitor was showing you the actual game, but the other one was like, say if it was an RTS, you had like troop deployment numbers, or if you were playing something as you had your inventory there, or a map or something, I think they did that with the Hobbit, the Lego Hobbit for the Nintendo whatever, DS?
There's the DS Lite. Those are handheld consoles.
Yeah, and I think that was what it was on, because it had the upper screen and the lower one.
Is that a thing? Handheld console? Is that an actual thing? Have I just made up a thing?
Yeah, it's handheld, yeah.
Okay.
And it was... it had an upper screen and a lower screen, and you were playing the game in the lower screen, and on the upper screen was all the different characters you could play during that mission.
All right,
it meant that you could very quickly change character. But if you played it on the Vita, you had to press a button to activate that because it was one screen.
Yeah, I had a Nintendo DS Lite.
Mm-hmm.
But I never played one of those kind of games. I remember playing Brain Train.
Oh,
and
so
the doggy game where you train a dog. So I'm allergic. I can't have real dogs, so I had like a little fake dog.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing.
I lost that game a long time ago. They probably all did.
Oh, aye.
Okay.
They're all dead.
They're all dead.
They're all dead. So, if we can just
go back.
Again, pivot back. This, I think you're right. You were saying it links back to the very beginning, and it's yet another mistake that Xbox made, where they tried to turn the console into not a console.
Yeah.
And it's backfired. They've obviously wasted time developing and then having to patch out certain things. Now the things they put in unnecessarily are causing them trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So also the fact that they've got all those Kinect games that most people can't play anymore because Kinect's going to go dodo.
I've never seen it. I've not seen it in the shops for a very long time.
No.
I couldn't actually remember that thing even existed until I looked up the story.
Yeah. So it's
amazing how many things that are like all the rage at one point and then just disappear. That was me snapping my fingers in case I couldn't hear that first time.
Kinect was never all the rage. It was
I know,
just
but
there.
it was always on television. I just remember seeing adverts on it. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Right. Okay. It's like the cutting edge of technology. And
yes.
It was actually very good to some degree because it used infrared sensors and cameras and stuff like that. I actually quite liked it. I also liked they had the football game, and at the end of the football game, it showed you how stupid you looked kicking the ball around. because it showed you your actual movements to fit with what was happening.
Yeah.
But I just think that it was a gimmick. It was never used properly. Sort of like the Wii, to be honest.
Yes.
That's why.
Let us not speak of the Wii.
I mean, the Wii might have sold a lot, but as a console, it was awful. It was not. It's been viewed very, very badly. The Wii U was much better, but didn't get any attention because.
And then what's the
tainted.
new thing? It's the
Switch. That's the one everybody loves.
Yes, it's a tiny version of the Wii. It looks a lot like the Wii with the controller.
Oh yeah, it's got a tiny Wii remote
Yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah, the Joy-Cons they call them.
I don't know.
I just use the professional gamer controller, the Pro controller, I think they call it. I'm not interested in this tiny little thing where you, oh no, I'm just going to move the stick, I'm just going to press the button, I don't know what I'm doing, it's tiny, I've pressed all the buttons at once.
Why are you speaking like that?
I don't know. I was imitating being extremely small. Because, I mean, my hand's on something that size.
I'm quite small and you don't hear me saying this in terms of height.
Yes, but I would have to compress myself to become that small, and that would cause my lungs have become very small.
A British accent.
Yes. So we'll move on to the next story because that one keeps getting sidetracked.
Yes.
So this story is that Sony have bought Insomniac Games.
Yes.
Obviously, for the purpose of creating exclusives for the PlayStation number 5.
Have they released images of that yet? I'm pretty sure they have. Oh well.
I've not seen anything.
I thought they
maybe I'm
had.
not looking. I know I haven't seen any. I don't think they have.
Okay.
Like, what do you mean? Do you mean images?
I thought they had. I thought they had released something that looks like it.
Do you mean the images of the external console shell or the chipsets inside?
No,
or?
the external shell.
Right. Okay. I haven't seen any. I'm pretty certain they haven't released any technical pictures. The last time I heard of anybody showing anything was when it was the chipsets for the PlayStation 5 Pro or something like that.
No, I haven't. They haven't.
It's too early. They're playing it really close to the chest. Huh. Okay. Well, if that's what the outer shell ends up... Sorry, we're just looking at a picture of the outer shell there. I think if that's what the outer shell actually looks like, that's going to be incredible.
I don't know if that is, because I literally just Googled PlayStation 5 and looked up images of it.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see if that's what it looks like.
Talk amongst yourself for a couple of minutes. I just want to make sure.
Talk amongst myself.
Baffling Sony 5 PS5 design shown from every angle in latest images. So I think that is what it's going to look like.
Oh, nice! That looks incredible.
That looks like something out of Star Wars, or Star Trek, or something like that.
Yeah, that's science fiction console.
It looks like a ship.
Aye. Do you know, actually, funnily enough, considering that it's a massive Xbox exclusive, but that looks a wee bit like the dropships in Halo.
Yeah.
You know, the U-shaped dropship.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what it looks like. That's what it reminds me of, yeah.
We're going to have to put the picture up as the picture for this part of the story.
Hopefully it is it. Exclusive renders bring the previously illustrated PlayStation 5 design to life. Oh, maybe it's not then. We had our first glimpse at a potential design for the feverishly anticipated.
Okay.
So it's a potential design.
Let's hope they go with it, because it's incredible.
Yeah.
We're going to put that picture up for the part here where we're talking about the PlayStation, but it'll be Insomniac Games for every other part of this, I think.
It's on every single news website I'm looking at. That picture is...
So that is at least a potential.
That looks like it might be it, yeah.
It's at least a potential, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move back to the Insomniac Games. Now,
Sorry.
As I said, Insomniac Games have been bought by Sony for the purpose of creating exclusives for PlayStation 5.
Yes.
We've been speaking quite regularly about how Xbox have been purchasing a lot of developers and studios in order to create exclusives for their console. I think also to create exclusives for the Game Pass.
Yes.
And I think here is what we're seeing with Sony's response. So just to have a quick chat about the background of Insomniac Games.
They were the ones that made the latest Spiderman game.
Yes.
That was exclusive for PlayStation 4.
Yes.
Which had quite a lot of rave reviews, I think, from players and critics alike.
Yes, so it sold the second highest number of copies for a PlayStation 4 game.
Wow, that was good.
Looking at exclusives, it was only beaten by Uncharted 4.
Was that also an exclusive for PS4?
Yes. Yes, Uncharted is exclusive.
No, I have seen it. No, you can buy it for other consoles, I believe.
Well,
Now.
it might be
Now.
the PC.
I thought, no, I'm pretty sure.
No. I'm pretty sure you're not right. So Uncharted 4 sold 15 million copies and Spider-Man sold 14 million, and that beat things like God of War, which got 10 million. which was like huge, like, oh my god, it got 10 million, and then these two came along and beat that. I think Insomniac Games are also responsible for a couple of Xbox exclusives, actually. They were involved in making Sunset Overdrive, which means that Sunset Overdrive might be gone now because the console that wanted it isn't able to,
Yeah.
to
Yeah, you're right. It is exclusive for.
Yeah, so Uncharted 4 is exclusive for the PlayStation 4. Yeah, so sorry, we might not see a Sunset Overdrive because it was an Xbox exclusive. I think it was a release exclusive, actually. And we might not see a second one because Insomniac Games developed it. We've spoken quite a lot, actually, in recent weeks and months and years and days and decades and centuries about how Xbox have been signing up lots of games developers and studios to try and make exclusives for the next console because there's not anywhere near enough, but also to make exclusives for the Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. And this is Sony buying Insomniac Games so that they can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've said it a few times, I'll say it again, it means that there's some question marks over some previous Xbox exclusives, whether or not sequels will be able to be made. If Xbox don't actually have any claim to the IP, then technically Sony could just release the sequels.
Yeah.
But this is what they're doing. Sony are buying a few up of themselves to make exclusives, and the simple fact of the matter is, considering the vast majority of exclusive, there's not, that I can recall, a game made for the Xbox One or the Xbox that's exclusive to it, made in Japan. But Japan makes plenty of exclusives for Sony and for Nintendo. So they've already got a lot of exclusives. So by buying up Insomniac Games, getting them to make just PlayStation games, it's going to be like Xbox have to. If Xbox don't, bring the heat when they announce the Xbox 2, they're in trouble.
Yeah. I don't know, because Sony's a bit of hot water with me at the moment with the whole Spiderman fiasco.
I don't know what that means.
Sony and Disney weren't able to come to a deal to keep Spiderman in the MCU.
Well, why would they want to? I mean,
because it's worked amazing since Tom Holland took over as Spider-Man and working with the other Marvel characters. Also, Tom Holland might actually be out of a job now, which would be quite sad because he's, I think, been quite possibly the best Spider-Man they've had in recent years. Then again, I did watch that Spideyverse movie. That was very good.
Right, yeah, that's the thing. Spider-Man can sort of survive by himself, unlike a lot of the others.
Did it, though?
No, it could. I didn't say it did, I said it could. There are others which just simply couldn't.
Spider-Man 3. Where does that?
I've not seen Spider-Man 3. Stop.
Oh, okay. Just don't. Don't watch it. Okay. And by the way, for anybody who was wondering what I was doing a little shuffle like this, what Tobey Maguire does in the third movie. Have you never seen clips of that?
No. Okay, so, see, I don't really care. I don't think it applies here. I think that Spider-Man was such an amazing game for them that they'll make a sequel and it'll be no problem.
Yeah.
So I don't think it matters. Your personal disinfatuation with them is irrelevant.
Okay.
So, say third story, I think this is. Apex Legends developers on an Apex Legends forum called their players
something hats and freeloaders.
Bum caps and freeloaders. Players had been complaining about the cost of loot boxes and microtransactions in the recent Apex Legends update on the Apex Legends forum. The forum was where they were.
Yeah.
The forum was the forum.
The forum was the forum.
It was the forum in which they were complaining. Now, the freeloaders comment was a good comment.
Just got the joke.
About how he was happy that many people could play and pay nothing.
Yeah.
Because he described You've got the exact quote there, don't you?
Yep. The quote was, "The amount of people who spend crazy low, most of y'all are freeloaders," and in brackets he's got, "and we love that," and then add a change in price doesn't move the needle.
So he's quite happy that everyone's a freeloader, but using that the thing is that sarcasm and good-natured, blah, 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 doesn't really work if the person can't see your face and hear your voice.
Yep. Again, it's the whole text thing.
Yeah.
It's Twitter, unless you have an actual voice and you can listen to the tone of that voice and see the facial expressions like you're saying, you have no idea. You give me a hard time for doing that on this.
Yeah, a lot of what you do is sometimes based on
Facial,
accompanying movements, and that doesn't really work. I mean, it's better than text because your voice can be heard, but it's still not. If you pull a funny face and then shake your head,
because you just said I sounded really angry.
There's been a couple of times where you sounded like you were telling me off, and I had to cut it because it was looking really sort of like abusive. Because the colloquial
same thing
part
happens the other way as well. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, but I'm smart enough to do it off camera.
No, you don't actually.
Silence when you're talking to me.
Silence, fool.
Silence when you're talking to me. So it doesn't really work as well.
No. Because I'm not gonna lie. When I was glancing through one of the articles and I came across that quote, I was my eyes were just drawn to that quote first of all, and I thought, oh wow, that's actually. That sounds really bad, and then I had to go reread the entire thing. I went, okay, yeah, I misunderstood it.
So yeah, it was actually kind of a good one. He was happy about how people could play and pay nothing, but because of other comments that he made and the conversation in general, it was getting taken out of context. It was misunderstood.
Yeah.
Describing players as bum caps. Now that is a phrase I am using instead of another one because the other one's American. Was direct.
Some ruder.
Well, YouTube doesn't like the phrase, apparently. It starts going a bit upset. Anyway, was directed at a specific... describing gamers as bum caps was directed at a specific individual, but was very loosely worded.
Yes.
So it ended up including everybody in the known universe as well. So the thing is here that people... The real issue is that they apparently it was ridiculous. It was like 20 odd or 30 odd loot boxes that you had to spend... I think it was 20, sorry, you had to spend £7. You had to spend £7 to open each of these, so it was like 140 quid for everything. And somebody mentioned something about a hammer that was 32 quid, like Call of Duty much. That sort of thing. A skin that was $20. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And people were unnaturally upset, and he tried to say, it doesn't move the needle. So if it doesn't move the needle, why are you increasing the price? It doesn't move your needle, but it moves everybody else's.
Yeah.
So why would you do it? It's simple. They're trying to get a bit of extra money, but also if it truly doesn't move the needle, it's to prepare us mentally for the fact that we're going to have skins that cost 100 quid. And so they're preparing us to just accept it. That's what they did when they made it. Here's a skin for 10 pence, then it eventually became 20 quid. Then they're going to just keep moving. They're preparing us mentally to accept it. And that, if it honestly doesn't move the needle, that's what they're doing. Because to do that harm to your players when it doesn't actually benefit your game is so very, very silly.
Yeah.
And nasty. It's done deliberately to try and hurt them, basically.
Yeah. But people were a lot of people were getting very, very angry at this, that he was saying these kinds of things.
Well, yeah, so they got angry at the cost involved and the greediness, and they took to the forum to call them out, and that's what they should be doing. But here's the thing, when you really think about it, that's now a problem for Apex Legends, because it was Respawn Entertainment, right? They've actually been very, very good. Now they've been bought by EA, and they've already started this, so they've been infected, right? If this was a zombie movie, they'd have to die. Yeah. And they've clearly been infected. Even the devs have been infected because they're starting to defend these practices. It's ridiculous. But obviously they're new to being called greedy because Respawn weren't before. Yeah. But the particular issue that they have here is that the people who they were talking to were on an Apex Legends forum. They went out their way to go and talk about it.
They got personal.
No, please, if you don't know what I'm going to say, just let me finish. Here, let's see if you can work it out. These people cared enough to go onto a Apex Legends forum to talk to the developers, because it was a specific thing they set up so that players could talk to the developers. Yes. It was an event or something like that. What does that mean?
They wanted to bypass EA?
No. It means that the people who think, what are the players who bothered to go out of their way?
Hardcore players.
They're the hardcore player base of Apex Legends. And that's specifically who Respawn just insulted.
Yeah.
Their hardcore player base.
You don't mess with the hardcore player base.
It's the worst place to start picking a fight that they could have had. In the defence of the developers here a little bit, that it appears that they were trying to be a bit funny and interactive, but it obviously went very bad after a while, and the developers then seemed to lose it. They didn't cope well with the fact that things got misunderstood.
Yeah.
There are grown-up ways of doing it, and then there are not actually grown-up ways of doing it that seem grown-up. And I think they ended up going with the latter. It's
going to be a lose-lose situation no matter what you do. If you don't acknowledge what's going on, you're going to lose out because people are going, well, they're just kind of closing their eyes and putting their fingers in the ears type of thing to it. But then if you retaliate, you're also...
It's worse to retaliate because you just end up looking like a child. I think it was a good way that there's a couple of points made by the people that I heard this, one of the reports I was listening to. One, it's really good practice to assume that the person you're talking to is actually a child because it helps you stay calm.
Yeah.
Secondly, you've also got to realise that in the internet you're in a crowd. If people turn around and just see you laying into someone, they don't necessarily know why. Thirdly, the developers are the person in a position of social and other, specifically game development, power.
Yeah.
You don't go picking a fight with everybody else when you've got all the power.
No.
That's called bullying. It would be like a 2-year-old hitting me in the knee, so I volley him in the face. It's not equivalent.
Yeah. Yep, the developer should not have retaliated. It's just going to be one of those things. It's something that really, really bugs me. It's that even if you know you're in the right or anything like that, you cannot retaliate when there's a customer base.
I mean, I've got no problem...
player base, I should say.
...with standing up to people who are just being abusive, but they weren't. They were saying $20 for a skin is ridiculous, you're being greedy. That's a perfectly valid thing to say.
Yeah.
Perfectly valid. You can't call that out as being abuse. It's not.
I think if they have enough people sort of like going at it, and because again, you can play this game for free. You can do a lot of stuff for free.
It doesn't matter, you can still complain about what you have to pay for. If it's ridiculous. They don't need to be selling things like that for that price. Other games have already proven it.
Is it EA that are coming up with these ideas, or is it Apex?
Apex are probably creating the actual things, or sorry, not Apex, Respawn are creating the actual things which go in, but EA will be saying we need you to make this much money from this quarter. Otherwise we shut you down. And they've already had that problem when we spoke before about how it's been falling apart because the player base disappeared because they artificially inflated it at the beginning.
Yeah. Should we move on to a different piece of storiness?
Yeah, EA storiness. So Dragon Age 4 has lost Fernando Melo and other lead developers. Now, Fernando Melo has been there for 12 years and he was the senior producer of Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. Now, Dragon Age Origins, absolutely amazing. Dragon Age 2, absolutely not. So mixed record there, but he still did make some great games. And see, Dragon Age 2, it wasn't all bad. There were some aspects of it that were actually quite good.
Yeah.
Dragon Age Origins, of course, is just amazing. But he was in charge of Dragon Age 4 and he's walked out during development. So...
what does that tell you?
That Bioware have also been infected by EA.
Yeah.
And
was it Bioware? It was it Activision Blizzard or something like that? Somebody left them, or
Bungie left Activision Blizzard with Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they learned to do that and keep the IP because when they left Microsoft, Microsoft they had to leave Halo behind.
Can I ask a quick question? Was Dragon Age when did EA buy Bioware? Was it between these two games?
No,
between
they I don't. Oh, I think it would have been after the KOTOR game that they made.
Right.
I'm trying to think back, and EA's logo was on all the Mass Effects, I think, and all the Dragon Ages. I don't remember without an EA logo. Mm-hmm. So I think the EA, but the thing was that EA were smart at the beginning. They weren't liked, but EA was smart. They left the games alone that they knew would make them money if they left them alone.
Yeah.
But they've become greedier. They've become more stupid. And they try and turn every single game either into a FIFA Ultimate Team or spend no money, somehow make loads.
Yeah.
It's not their business model is basically unsustainable.
Yeah.
It's the same with Activision Blizzard. You can't do this because the people rebel. As long as you have CD Projekt Red making amazing games like The Witcher 3, these companies are doomed because people will turn to them, give them loads of money, and that's it. Or PlayStation exclusives. I don't think they have anything to do with EA usually. Just money, Nintendo, money, and then you're fine. EA does make smaller games here or there. Activision Blizzard's in a much worse position. But the simple fact of the matter is that those two companies are very, very, very weak because they're so entirely based on loot boxes.
Yeah.
Take-Two, a bit different because they've based it on microtransactions. A bit more viability there. A bit more breadth. They also sell ridiculous numbers of their games. But in the case of Call of Duty and EA, they're completely based on loot boxes.
But like what I was asking is, what does this tell you about the game? Do you think that a lead developer has abandoned ship?
I would say that what this tells you is that either there is no reason to stay anymore because there's no Bioware magic, or that they don't enjoy the work that they're doing, or they have, as in they don't enjoy the game they're currently making, or EA has so much dominating control over them that they just don't feel like they're in charge of anything. They don't feel like they're actually designing anything. They feel like they're just, like, instead of being an artist, they're just a contractor doing what they're told.
Yeah, I can get
and
that.
They're just not feeling it, so they're taking any opportunity they can to jump ship.
It's sad that after 12 years you feel like you have to go, or...
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Is that I think the original owners of BioWare stayed on to form like a shield against EA and say, no, this will work. But when they left, EA just, we don't trust anybody else, and then it just started to fall apart. Like Andromeda was essentially like a trigger. That's the word I'm looking for. And so a lot of things are triggers, but in a negative way. It causes people to say, saying that like things can trigger you in a negative way. You can say, oh, this is racist, oh, this is homophobic, oh, this is blah 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 blah. This is more like it was more like a positive trigger, like a woke trigger. Oh my god, this game is so woke. When they made Andromeda, and it just flatlined because it was so bad. There was dozens of DLC planned for that game that weren't released because it was so bad. EA just pulled the plug. Eventually they'll pull the plug on BioWare, and frankly they've pulled the plug on so many good studios. They're just losing. They're becoming Activision, because that's what Activision do. They just pull all their IP as well. EA are not interested in IP that they don't have
total
dominion over.
Yeah,
that's why they've not bothered properly when it comes to the Star Wars games.
Yeah.
So every time they cut something out, they say, no, we're not making these games anymore, we're not making that game anymore, just because one or two of them don't work. That's it. They lose all the IP. I don't know how a company would survive losing the Dragon Age and Mass Effect IPs permanently. I don't know how that would work. The KOTOR IP, I don't know how that would work. They would just be shut down completely.
Yeah. Does not look good.
Well, no, but that's the thing. They basically hoped that Andromeda would sell because it was a Mass Effect game, because it had all the woke triggers of everybody has to be lovely to each other. I think when it comes to the wokeness, I think that was just sort of snuck in by one of the developers who was a bit anti-white racist.
Yeah.
But it was still left in, and they must have thought, well, maybe we can get something from this. But the real issue there was that they released a game that wasn't ready to be released. They tried to BioWare magic it, just like, oh, it'll come together in the end. And it worked for Dragon Age Inquisition, apparently. Apparently that was a very entertaining game. But it clearly hasn't worked for the last two releases, with Andromeda and Anthem being disasters. And now this guy's gone as well. There's nobody left from the original BioWare. It's going to be another disaster. But the good thing is that Dragon Age Origins is like 100
still there.
Well, it's 100 hours to play, and there's subtle differences depending on which of the 6 Origins you pick.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you can start off as one of 3 races for Origins, and there's lots of different startings. So you can start off as a noble, but you can only be a... so you pick your race, elf, dwarf, human.
Yeah.
You then pick your origin. So if you go a mage, you can't go a mage if you're a dwarf, but you can if you're an elf or a human. And if you go a mage, then everything's pre-selected and you're whatever. But if you go an elf, you can go either a free elf or an alienage elf, and that then limits whether or not you can pick things like noble or not. So if you go a human, you can go a noble, or you can go a commoner. You can go a dwarf casteless or a dwarf noble. I think an elf is just a slave or a free elf, and then you've got mage.
Yeah.
I think it's mage, alienage elf, free elf, noble dwarf, casteless dwarf, and I think it's a human noble. I don't think you can go a common human. I think those are the 6.
Right, okay.
So yeah, it's the mage and the human noble, and then the other 2 are the 2 elves and the 2 dwarves that you can go. And it actually has changed. So you might meet like the king of the dwarves during the game, right? But if you started off as a dwarf noble, you've already met him. So you actually know each other.
Yeah.
There's a bad guy that you have to kill during one part of the game. You've already met that guy if you go the human noble.
Okay.
There's a couple of... I think there's a character that you can actually get in your party. You've already met them if you start as a mage.
Okay.
So there's different interactions, and it changes what happens at the end. And obviously the gender you pick changes how the end of the game works as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Might be worthwhile getting that.
I wouldn't do that for a wee while because I don't think you're ready to play that because it's a part RTS
Yeah,
game.
I'm not going to get it right now.
You get it for the computer, by the way, and then you would record playing it.
Okay. I like how you smile at the end there. It's like, record playing it, please.
You must record yourself playing the game.
I will.
Welcome to the dark side. Not from a Jedi. There's a fury or anger you hate.
Okay, should we stop? Should we stop?
This fully operational battle station. I'm afraid it will be quite operational when your friends arrive.
Okay, should we stop with the copyrighted material?
Anyway, so that's all the stories we had to talk about today.
Yeah, I don't think I can really add much to the Dragon Age games. I never played any of them, but yeah, it says a lot to me about a company if you've got people that have been there for over a decade jumping ship.
Yeah, all in batches. They're moving in batches because Ben Irvin just went, this guy, and like 3 or 4 of the art developers just went, no, we're off.
Yeah.
So it's batches of people
Make
trying
a
to get
new
out.
company, people, and create some better games.
Or just wait for EA to collapse and buy back the IP you know how to use properly.
Yeah. But they might be waiting a while, and they've probably got...
Well, I don't think you will be. I don't think you will be. I think 5 years and Activision and EA will be crushed because loot boxes will be illegal in most of the world.
I know it'll happen because you'll phone me and you'll just hear party poppers calling off in the background and you just go, yeah!
Yes, I'm here with the president of 73 different countries and we have agreed that we are going to make it all illegal.
Anyway, so like you said, that's the end of all the stories that we have for you today.
Yes, and obviously the gameplay stories you're talking about since. So we hope that you enjoyed that and that you'll...
Subscribe,
you'll click the like button, hit the notification bell. And that you will join us next week.
Yes, and you can follow us on Facebook at ShadowCast, and you can email us at overshadowshadowcast@gmail.com, and you could leave a little comment.
You leave a comment underneath.
That'd be great, or you can email us a comment.
Yes, so anything's welcome really. If it's problematic, we'll just respond telling you that, and if it's offensive, we'll just
ignore it.
We'll turn the other cheek. That'll be that.
Yep. So I will say goodbye. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will. We will turn the other cheek.
That's what Activision, Blizzard, and EA look for.
I'm turning the other cheek while I press the stop button.
No, that's what Activision and EA are looking for. They're looking for the whales to come in and buy. So people who come into a game and buy like £1,000 or £10,000 worth of microtransactions or loot boxes are called whales. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for whales to come in and buy. It's whales that are keeping them. See, Wales as a country is in big bother if it doesn't ban loot boxes because it's all its fault.
Okay,
and
then.
that's another loot box purchaser joke there.
Okay. I'm going to say goodbye and I'm going to shut this off now before we have any more of these puns from you. So you're going to say goodbye?
Yeah. Join us next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.